Hi, this is Happy Bird from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and today I'm very honored to do a Recycle Craft collaboration video with a very sweet lady by the name of Hectanooga1. Hectanooga1 has been on YouTube for quite a few years now, and she's always been one of my favorites to watch. Emmy is amazing. You have to check out her channel. She has tons of videos on crocheting, knitting projects, jewelry making, all kinds of crafts and cooking. I guarantee if you go there, there's something for everyone on her channel. So please check out Emmy's channel at Hectanooga1 and show her some love by subscribing and letting her know that Happy Bird sent you. Emmy's links will be in the drop down bar below the video. Just click on the little blue words that say show more and the drop down bar will open up for you. Emmy's links will also be on my blog at happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com. So, with that said, let's get started. So, my recycled craft project were these little ornaments that I made. Here, let me show you the first one. And I made this out of a Christmas card. Actually, it was a Dollar Tree Christmas card that I picked up at the end of the year. They were selling them for 50 cents a box. Trying to get rid of them. And this was so easy to put together. I just used the Mod Podge Super Gloss One Coat Gloss Finish, Aleene's Turbo Tacky Glue, and a couple different types of glitter. And then I made this little beaded hook here out of seed beads and plain old Christmas hooks. And I'll show you how to do that too, of course, towards the end of the video. But I thought it turned out really pretty. Has a nice shine. And I'll show you the card that I used to make it. This one right here has kind of a vintage feel, I think, to it. And then the other Christmas card that I used to make this ornament was a little plainer, but it did have quite a few color variations of blue and then the white. And I glued this little acrylic pearl chain on the back here. So I thought it turned out really pretty. It almost looks a little bit to me like a mosaic mother of pearl cross. Okay. Now, I have learned something when making these crosses. When you're looking for Christmas cards, go for light and bright. Don't go for the dark tones of green and the dark tones of red, because your cross will be dark looking. So try to stick with light and bright, like these two cards. Okay? Now, how I did this was I took the card and cut it in half, like this. And then I cut it in half again. Let me move my camera up a little bit. So I ended up with this. Now I'm going to save these because I'll put my little pieces of the card on here. And I just took the two pieces in the front, like so. And then I took my little hole puncher right here, and I just punched holes straight on across like this, just like that. And I just kept doing that all the way across. I even punched through the writing here that said Merry Christmas, because you won't be able to see that those are letters. They'll just look like swirls. So everywhere that you can see that there might be a pattern, just punch across it randomly. It doesn't matter what the picture is on the Christmas card. I mean, it could be a winter scene with, you know, a bright Christmas tree with lots of ornaments or little animals or whatever. As long as it's, you know, fairly light and bright in color, it'll turn out really pretty. And then I just empty these out like that. And since you can find these at the Dollar Tree, it might be a good idea to even buy a couple and put your kids to work on this. And don't worry that some of them are upside down. What I did was I just started working on the ones that were right side up first, and then the ones that were upside down, I just put the other Christmas card over it and held it real tight at the bottom so nothing would fall out, and I just would flip it over, and when that would happen, then I would have some new ones right side up. And so I just kept doing that, and so that's how I did that. Okay, so I'm going to put my little circles over here, and you're probably thinking about now, how in the world am I going to glue those little tiny pieces on that cross, and won't it take forever? The answer is it's really easy. I'll show you in a minute. And no, it won't take you forever. Actually, the process goes pretty quick, and I'll show you what I did in just a minute. But before I do that, I'm going to show you how I made the cross. I took 2 popsicle sticks. These are 4.5 inches long. They are about 14 millimeters wide at the top. And I used 1 popsicle stick for the body of the cross, right here. And all I did was take some scissors, and I'm just cutting off the rounded tip right here with the scissors. It's not hard, but the pieces do fly, so be careful. And so that's the body of the cross. Now, for this one, I want this piece to be a little shorter because this is the arms of the cross. So I want to cut this down to about 3 1/4 inches. And I've gotten to the point where I could pretty much eyeball it. So, here we go. Cutting off a larger piece here. Alright. Now, the front of the cross will be when you put this piece on the back. When you put it on the back like that, then this will be considered the front of the cross. Okay? And the reason why I'm telling you this is because there's a definite front and a definite back to the cross. If you flip it over, the arms will be on top, and that's the back of the cross. Okay? Alright. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to kind of look at our pieces that we cut out and decide whether we want the this part of the cross on the edge to be silver or gold. And looking at the pieces I have, it does have some gold in it, so I'm going to use a gold paint pen. This is a metallic paint pen, and it's a gold leafing pen actually, but you could use a gold metallic pen and paint pen, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be a leafing pen. And all I'm doing is just running this around the edges like that, just so the popsicle stick won't show. One thing I love about punching out all these little holes here is the fact that every single one of them are different. There are not any two that are identical to each other, and that's what makes this project so pretty. Okay. Alright, so you'll give that a couple of minutes to dry, and let me get a paper towel. Okay, so I'm going to start with the body of the cross, and I'm going to take my turbo tacky glue. I lower the camera down a little. Okay, and I'm almost pretty close to the end of this, so I have to tap this on my mat here. And I'm just going to run some turbo tacky glue up and down this body. And hold on. Then I'm just going to take my finger and smear it around. I'm not being shy with the glue, putting quite a bit on, because I don't want it to dry out by the time I get to the end. Okay. Alright. Now I have a couple of pencils. I bought these off eBay. They're wax pencils, and they're made specifically to pick up rhinestones and place them on fingernails, painted fingernails. But this works beautifully for this project. And if you go to eBay and type in the words nail tool or nail pickup tool or something like that, you'll see a lot of these little wax pencils. And when they get smashed down, you just take a regular little pencil sharpener and just sharpen them right up. I paid, I think, 99 cents for 2 of them. They sell them individually, they sell them in packs. I bought these quite a while ago, actually, but these are a handy little tool to have, and I thought, gee, I wish I knew about this a while back. I would have used them for the rhinestones that I put on my projects. Okay, so as you can see, I'm not even thinking about the color that I'm putting on here. I'm just adding random pieces. If you stop and think about the colors every time you add a piece, it's going to slow you down. And I think when it's random like this, it turns out so pretty. So we just go all the way down, and as you can tell, this is a pretty quick process. And if you want more colors, like I said, just put the other piece of card on top of this and hold it tight at the bottom and flip it over, and you'll get more pieces that are right side up. And I haven't decided if this looks more like a mother of pearl mosaic or an eggshell art mosaic or enamel. But I really like the way it turned out. And this is such a relaxing way to just sit back and listen to the radio. Of course, listening to the radio means listening to it on the internet anymore. Maybe watching your favorite TV program and just kicking back and relaxing. And what I'm doing is I'm going to start, oh, hold on for a second. I lost my thought. Well, chalk it up to old age. Okay, so I'm going to take this now. I'm going to flip it over so it'll give me some more colors. I'm going to hold it tight. Okay, there. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this on this arm I mean on this body first. Then I'm going to do this on the arm. Took me a while to get that out, didn't it? Yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with this. Oop, got two of them there. And it doesn't take long actually for this part to dry. It goes pretty quickly. Try that again. There we go. Now you know why I added more glue to the bottom, because I didn't want it to dry out the time I got there. And it's not that this goes slow or anything. It's just that the Turbo Tacky glue dries fairly quickly. Now I'll have to admit, I'm going to speed it up a little bit, the drying time, by putting a small fan on low and putting this in front of the fan. Just because I'm impatient. I love to do art projects, but it's difficult sometimes to have to wait while they dry. And if you notice, some of these circles are hanging off the edge of the cross. That's perfectly fine, and I'll show you what we do after this is completely dry. Okay, so now we're at the very end. All right, press this down. A lot of different colors, color variations in this. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to the arm of the cross, and I'm going to allow this to dry. With a fan on it, it should dry pretty rock solid within about an hour or so. And I'll come back and I'll show you how we trim the edges, and then I'll flip it over and do the exact same process. Okay, so both the body and the arm are dried, and what you're going to need is you're going to need a pair of precision scissors. I like the kind that are angled at the top and pointy. Now we're going to trim this off, but don't hold it like this where the circles are facing you. Turn it over. It's so much easier to do it this way because you can lean your little scissors against the popsicle stick and then just cut, and it gives you such a nice clean finish that way. Okay? Just like that. And then just do that on both sides and both ends. Okay, and then this end. And then when you look at it in the front, you see how nice and neat it is now? Like that. Okay. You're going to do the same thing to the arm. Okay. All right. Looks good. And this will be the front of the cross, so I'll put this arm behind it. I think it'll be pretty. Now, I'm going to do the exact same process I showed you here on the back, okay? And when this is dry, then you're just going to flip it over on the opposite side and cut like that, just like I showed you, okay? So let me finish doing the backs and trimming them up, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I have both pieces of the cross with all the little circles glued and trimmed. So now this is dried rock solid, and you're going to have to decide which you want to be the front and the back of the cross. So I decided to use this front for the cross, and I'm going to be placing this behind here, remember, because that's the front. You want to place this about 3/4 of the way up the body of the cross, the arms of the cross. So about 3/4 of the way up, okay? And I'm using E6000 glue. And of course they have these in the larger tubes, but this is the jewelry making size, and I'm coming to the end of this, so I'll just use that up. So I'm going to place this about, oops, not on the top. I'll place this in the middle, a little blob, not a lot, just a little, and then I'm going to lay this right on top. And I'm going to hold it for just a second, make sure it's nice and even, like so. And I think this looks pretty good, like that. So I'm going to just set it down, make sure it's nice and even, like I said. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to just let it sit. I'm not going to touch it, and I'm going to let the E6000 dry thoroughly, and then we'll be back and I'll show you what we'll do to beautify this cross. And I think you're really going to like it. You're going to be surprised to just how simple it is. Okay, so our cross has dried, and so now I'm going to be putting on some Mod Podge Super Gloss. That's the one coat gloss finish, and this is very different than the regular Mod Podge. Don't use the regular Mod Podge. I always get questions from people asking me if they can use it when I have this in my project. This is completely different. This dries like clear glass, and it really does too, because when I've had this dry in my little bottle caps that I use, it does look like clear water when it dries. So I'm going to put a little bit of this into one of my bottle caps. Like so. And I'm going to take my finger and just put on an average coat like this, starting at the top, and then I'll do the body part here. It's not super thin, but it's not super thick. There we go. And I don't mind using my finger because this stuff comes off really easily with soap and water. Even when it's dried on my fingers, I just take a little nail brush. I don't even have to scrub hard. And some soap and water, And then that's it. Okay, now wipe my fingers off here. Now the first thing I'm going to use is either gold or silver tinsel glitter. But since this cross has some flecks of gold in it already from the Christmas card, that's what I'm going to use today. And I really like the light gold color. I don't care much for the dark orange yellow color from or for the color gold. I like the lighter gold. And I'm just going to pour just a tiny bit in my hand here. I'm not going to shake this directly onto the cross because I don't want to cover the pattern. I want to bring it out, and I want to give the appearance of gold veins running throughout the cross. So that's why I'm taking just a little bit at a time and just holding my hand several inches away from the cross and just giving it the tiniest sprinkle. And I don't think I'll even use this in here. So let me put that back into the bottle. Alright, and so this is what we have, and as you can see, there's little, looks like little veins of gold now. Alright, now next I'm going to use my jumbo glitter. Now this is standard stock at Walmart in the craft section, and it's in crystal quartz. There's no brand name on this jar, it just says jumbo glitter. Now I've seen this at Joann's as well. They also have it on eBay if you type in the words jumbo glitter. I also typed in the words nail glitter, hex, H-E-X, that's short for hexagon, because that is the shape of this glitter. I don't know if you can see it well enough, but it's a hexagon shape. So basically it's a kind of a white iridescent color, or clear iridescent, and I'm going to put a little sprinkling of that on top as well. I'm not going to put so much that I'm going to cover the pattern. I'm just going to take a little fingerful and just place it here and there. All the way down, and this will really bring this pattern out, especially when it dries. Okay, I'm going to set aside my glitter. Now I'm going to pick up my cross, and I'm just going to tap the sides, because if there's any of the gold tinsel stem or hexagon jumbo glitter that's hanging over the edge, then I'll push it right back in. I'm not wiping it, I'm pushing it in. Looking closely, there's one there. Okay, so this is looking really pretty already, and it's not even dried. Okay, so I'm going to allow this to dry thoroughly, and this will take several hours, possibly even overnight, and then I'll come back in with a very thin final coat on the cross of this Mod Podge gloss. And then once that is dried, I'll repeat the process on the back. Okay? But for now, we have to let the front dry. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, so we're going to put on one final coat of the Mod Podge gloss since this is dried. And I'm not putting it too thick, and I'm not putting it too thin. Just going to put it all the way down here, like that. And of course this will have to dry overnight. I know there's a lot of drying time in between, but you know, that's the hardest part. But if you do it any quicker, it's not going to turn out as pretty. And if you want to give these as gifts, you want these to turn out really nice. So, you know, have a little patience, and they will turn out beautiful. Did I put any across here? I think I did. Okay. And so I'll let this dry thoroughly overnight, and then I'll repeat this process on the back. And when I finish it on the back, I will show you what to do to put the little finishing touches on the cross. I think you'll like this. Okay, so our cross has completely dried, and I think it turned out really pretty. It's very smooth and solid, nothing's going to fall off. So the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to glue on this little flat back resin heart, and you can pick these up on eBay. Just type in the words flat back resin heart and a whole bunch of these will pop up. They have them in different colors, and they usually sell them for like 10 pieces for 99 cents, sometimes 20 pieces, and I've even seen them 40 pieces for 99 cents. So I'm just going to take a little bit of E6000 glue and just put a small amount on the back. Don't need a lot to make that stick. And placing it right here in the center of the cross. Right here. Like so. Alright. And then I cut a piece of chain like this. This is some AB chain that I had. You can look in your jewelry box and recycle some of your older jewelry if you'd like to. And I'm just wrapping this around the cross. You can use pearls or whatever you'd like. And I just want to make sure this is even down here, like that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue with a toothpick on each side. So I'm going to squirt some E6000 on this paper. And then I'm going to grab a toothpick and once again make sure that it's nice and even. I'm just going to spin the toothpick in this E6000 and kind of hold this on one side so it doesn't slip around, and I'm just going to twist some right here and lay the chain in it like that. And I'm kind of laying the chain just a tiny bit away from the side of the cross here, so it'll have a little gap in between, because if I push it right up against there, it's going to look odd. Trust me, I tried it. Okay. I do the same thing for this side. I'll leave a little gap. Like that. Okay. There we go. So we have the chain like this. So I'm just going to set this aside and allow this to dry. Okay? Because we're going to need to put the bail at the top, the very last, as well as make a little ornament hook like this. Now I like using the round seed beads. I don't know if you can see up close. See how these seed beads are round? And they're very small. The round ones seem to lay a little better when I put them on these little Christmas hooks. And here's one I made in red and gold. Now you can do this a couple of different ways. You can put a bead mat down or a piece of felt and just pour the seed beads on there and work from there. Or you can just work right out of your little container, which is what I'm going to do today. Move this out of the way. Now the hooks come like this. So let's see, let me get my... So with some round nose pliers, you're just going to take the very end like this and just kind of curl it up. And we're doing that so the beads won't fall off and so it'll look a little fancy. Now it's kind of sticking out there, so take my pencil and just roll this around my pencil so it'll look better. Right. So now at the end part here, we're going to be stringing these beads on. I'm just going to pull this down a little bit, not all the way, but I'm just going to pull it down a little ways. Okay? You don't want to pull it down completely because then you'll kind of mess up the wire. Alright. So all I'm going to do is just run my beads like this on the wire. And I don't... There, got one. If you want to take the time and put them on one by one, you can do that as well. But you see, as they're coming on to the wire, I'm just holding them back like this so they don't fall off. The reason why I don't put them on one by one is because they're a little difficult for me to see. And as you can see, I'm just pulling them on back like that. So I'm going to continue doing this until I have all of the little seed beads on, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I have all my little seed beads on, and you want to leave about this much wire that is open like that, because I'm going to come back in, and I'm holding this upside down a little bit at an angle so the seed beads won't fall off. You're going to take the very tip of your wire with your round nose pliers and give it a curl, and then just come back in and make sure it is closed so none of your seed beads fall off. Okay, then I take this skinny little paintbrush here and just kind of use this to curl this back up. And kind of inwards, like that. Okay. Then I'm going to straighten up the back of this, make sure it's nice and straight all the way down. So you have what looks like this. So at this point, you can slip the little glue-on bail in here, and you can use a small or a medium glue-on bail. I'm using the gold tone color. See, I just hooked it on there. And then I'm going to continue pushing this all the way downwards with my finger, just so the bail won't slide off, and adjust it on the back again if I need to do that, like so. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of E6000 on that bail. I'll put a little bit here on the paper. And come in with my toothpick. Now, you can find glue-on bails on eBay. Just type in those words. And you'll see a whole bunch of them pop up. Okay, so now I'm just going to go behind the cross and hold my bail on for a second. Make sure it's straight, like that. So it should look fine on the back. Yeah. Alright. So here you go. Pretty little cross with your little hook. And I think this looks nice enough to give as a gift to someone. I think it turned out really nice. This looks like there's one extra on here, so I might just cut that little rhinestone off right there to make it look even. Yeah. Oh, I wasn't thinking, and off came my bail that I glued on. See, I need to not play with it and give it time to dry. Okay, there we go. So, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you try making some of your own mosaic Christmas card ornaments. Be sure to check out Hectanooga1's video where she makes some adorable recycled cardboard ornaments, and I'll have a picture of them at the end of this video. You won't want to miss it. And as always, God bless each and every one of you. Bye-bye.